Hey all, Nicole here with Dear Teacher Instructional Coaching. So last week on episode 8, I provided strategies for you to have a successful summer. So how to learn, how to grow, and to start positive habits that you can carry with you into the school year. And while I think that working on those goals is important, I don't want you to stay in teacher style beast mode for the summer. Summertime needs to be a time of joy for you and a little bit more self-care for yourself, because you need that time to reset. If you don't take that time to reset, then you're not going to go into next school year mentally sound and prepared and feeling confident with what you're bringing to the table for your students. You want to be at your absolute very best. And so in order to do that, you need to really make sure that you are indulging a little bit more in self-care. And while I think that, we're talking about joy, right? And while I think that making those goals and working on yourself and reading books that you love and all of that can bring you joy, I want you to think about the little indulgences that you have that you either never let yourself do in the school year, or, as is probably more so the case, you just don't have time to do during the school year. So even though my tagline for Dear Teacher Instructional Coaching is that this is instructional coaching for teaching, self-care, and tech, I'm going to, the rest of the month of June, kind of take time out with the teaching and tech and really talk about strategies and things that are more centered around self-care. Because this is a prime season to get into positive self-care habits. So today, we are going to talk about these little indulgences and about things that bring you joy. So actually, I'm going to have you do a little activity with me. And I need you to get pad of paper, pen or pencil or whatever you've got around you. And I want you to sit back and reflect on what are 5 things that really bring you joy. Now, here's something kind of interesting. So I live in North Dakota, and we only have nice weather for a few months. And so that's why I think self-care is important all of the time, but I really want to take advantage of things that I really love during the summer season, because I don't get to indulge in some of those things, especially outdoor stuff, is so precious to me during this time, because I don't get to do it for 6 months out of the year minimum, right? They're just not, we're not laying outside reading our novels on the deck in December. It's not a thing. So, really think about, in the summer months, especially, what are things that you just absolutely love to do? So, take your pen, take your pad of paper, think about it for a little bit, and then I want you to pause this video and write down 5 things that bring you joy, and try to be as specific as you possibly can. So pause the video now. So now, I'm hoping that you actually paused the video and that just wasn't a weird transition, but hopefully you've got your 5 things written down that bring you joy. So, I have more than this. Of course, right? I had more than 8 books that I'm reading this summer. I've definitely got more than 5 things that bring me joy. But these 5 really can only happen for me in the summertime. or if I go on a vacation to Florida in March. Like, otherwise these don't happen for me. So the first thing that brings me joy, and it's so simple and I love it so much, is having a cup of coffee on the deck in the morning. And you have, so like the air is still a little chilly, but the sun is warm, and you've got your warm cup of coffee in your hand, and you just take in nature. And I don't know, maybe I'm just nuts, but I feel like morning in the summer around here just like smells differently. It smells so good. You've got like that morning dew, and it's a little humid, but it's still cool. And I love that. I love being able to have a cup of coffee on the deck in the summertime. The second thing that I really, really enjoy, and hopefully I'll be able to do this a little more now that we're in a house, that I'll be able to do this a little more into the fall, and I'm not so dependent on doing this at the cabin. But the second thing is sitting by a bonfire, or we just recently got a fire table. So sitting by those, feeling that warmth in the evenings. I've got like my morning thing I really love, and I got my evening thing that I really, really love to do. So sitting by the bonfire or fire table with a beverage, if you prefer, or making s'mores or whatever it happens to be. The third thing that also is only really a summertime thing is I love running outside as opposed to running on a treadmill. It's like I run on a treadmill 6 months out of the year because it's super windy or super cold, and like literally do not go outside, do not be outside. So it's actually only really that bad for like 3 months. The other 3 within this whole little 6-month time frame I got going on in my head, I could just buck up and go outside. But outdoor runs in the summertime, just the feeling of the sun on you while you're running, if you get a really good morning, because morning usually the wind's not going yet, typically. Past couple days around here it's been kind of icky, but the wind's usually not blowing. You've got that great smell. People have mowed their lawns, a lot of times the night before, so you smell the grass. It's just it's so pleasant. And it's easy to breathe the air because it's humid but cool, instead of like trying to gasp for breath in the afternoon, and the sunshine is still just so warm. So I love doing outdoor runs. That brings me a lot of joy. Fourth thing that brings me joy is waking up early to go out fishing. I love that. I love being out on the lake. The water is still, and we're fishing, and it's just quiet or chill conversations, nothing stressful, and hopefully you get a bite or two, and it's, we're like 7 or 9, and you have some excitement and fun with that too. So I love getting up early to go fishing and watching like the sun come up over the water. It's just just makes my heart so happy. And then the last thing that I have on this list is reading my book in the sunshine, whether that be out on our deck, or my favorite place to do that at the lake is out on our pontoon. Absolutely love that. So those are the 5 things that I'm going to really make sure that I do a lot this summer. Now there's other things that I love to do too. Like I love evening pontoon rides, but those can really only happen on the weekend. I love going kayaking, but that only happens a certain amount of time too, and typically on weekends when we're down at the lake. So I do want to make time for those things as well. And now one of the other things that is an indulgence that I enjoy, that I have really gotten into, it started about 3 weeks into the quarantine and distance learning, because I was like, go, and then I kind of slipped into a funk. I know a lot of people slipped into a funk right away. Mine was kind of delayed a little bit, and when I had some of those maybe kind of gloomy days, my big indulgence I would let myself have was watching NCIS. Just episode after episode. And I'd watch like 4 or 5 of them, and then I'm like, okay, I need to do something with my life right now. But that's definitely something that I can do. I can do any other time. I don't need to be sitting out vegging in front of a TV when it's 80 degrees outside. I need to be doing the things that make my heart happy and bring me joy while that sun is shining. So I need to really be taking advantage of this summertime. So take a look. What are the 5 things you've got on your list? And then really think about, how are you going to schedule that? How are you going to make sure that you have time for that? So, I think about, I have such like a wild morning usually, and I need to take that time to have the cup of coffee on the deck. So I'm like, okay, how can I work that into my schedule? Well, maybe after I do a morning outdoor run and hit that brings me so much joy. I come home, and while I'm, still sweaty or still in my running clothes, maybe I make a cup of coffee and I just sit and let my body go through a cool down and just enjoy a cup of coffee before I actually shower and get ready for the day and get going with life. Like, I can see that being a really positive start to my day, and doing 2 things every single morning that I love, that bring me joy, weather permitting. I would love that. Thinking about the reading my book in the sunshine, afternoons, 100% afternoons, I will probably be reading outside on my deck, or in the summer, or on the weekends this summer, I'll be at the lake and I'll be reading out on our pontoon, catching some rays, getting some vitamin D, because we're all vitamin D deficient up here. The early to go fishing, and then being by the bonfire, those are really just lake time activities, so that's definitely the weekend, as well as cruising out on the pontoon in the evenings and going kayaking would be weekend stuff. But sitting by the fire table, that's very easily a weekday thing that we could be doing. Like, say for example, after supper, clean up everything real quick and then pour myself a glass of wine or grab a bottle of water or an iced tea and go sit out on the deck and turn on the fire table at like 8 o'clock at night and really enjoy the outdoors, because I feel like there are ways to enjoy things in the winter. Like, I understand, I get it, but it is not the same as our summertime up here. So think about how you can schedule, after you've got your 5, think about how you can schedule those into your days. And then make sure that you really, I want you to take the month of June and really focus on getting these things into your life. Because they're just going to make you happy. They're going to alleviate stress. And they're going to just help you get on the path of recovery from this school year. And especially this past school year, ending the way that it did, and the like abruptness of it. The story with our school was, we were talking about it on Friday, like, gosh, are we going to end up doing school closures? Like, we don't know. And then it was Sunday. You guys, we got notified on Sunday that we weren't going back Monday. And everybody was like, what? Like, okay, that escalated quickly. What? And so for us, it was like really abrupt. And our governor's great and allowed us, like, hey, get like a couple of weeks or a week and a half or whatever it was to get your business together. And then we're going to start on this date. That is when content must start. And I know some schools started before that, but our district, being as large as it was, really needed to figure out how to get our poop in a group and then start by this date, get content pushed out. That's like your time frame. And it was just, it felt really sudden. And like I said, kind of, I think because of that suddenness is why I didn't fall into a lull a little bit right away. And because it was like, oh my gosh, this like problem happened, and I immediately went into like solution mode. Like, this is what we got to do. This is what I need to do. This is how I can best prepare for these kids. This is how I'm going to set up. This is what I'm going to change for my standards. This is what I'm going to change for my assignments. And just like zoomed in on the solutions. And then once like all of that settled and we got content rolling and the kids were kind of in the groove and we were in the groove, that's when I really sat back and went like, dang, this stinks. I don't like this very much. So, yeah, I had my little dip a little bit later. But now the school year is done. We can't go back. We can't change it. We did the best that we could. I don't think we made don't think we did any damage. Like, take solace in that you did the best that you could. Let it go and start thinking about the things that bring you joy and incorporate those into your life, especially this month of June. So I hope you all take the time to consider these indulgences, work them into your lives, and take this month to really decompress and spoil your soul with pieces of joy. With love, Nicole.